course, we are electrifying our fleet. But this is just the visible part. Our ambition is to build the greenest electric vehicles in our industry.
The reason why I'm running is definitely to get you out of the sun quickly. Wow. But first, I would like to say it's great to be in Washington again and to see a lot of people. So like Brian indicated, I personally just returned yesterday from the West Coast, and we were on the West Coast to launch two beautiful cars, which you can see on the right-hand side, the iX in the reddish color and the i4. Tremendous reaction we received from both of those cars, and they're for us what I would describe as symbols for the future of our organization, which is electrified, and they're the first cars which, after the i3 and the i8 a while ago, which are the next generation. They kind of are the synergy of what we can do in, as far as technology is concerned, but also what BMW is going to be in the future. Some of you may know, some of you may not know, but we already had 1972 a full electric car at the Olympics. It was used at the time as a pace car and as a camera car quite a while ago. And just a year later, in 1973, we actually launched a environmental manager. We believe that was one of the first in the industry where we already showed the focus to electrification and the like. But we talk a lot about products, of course, at BMW, but it's not only about the product. It's also about the environment. And just a little anecdote, we were driving this morning up from New Jersey, and coming up here, we thought to ourselves, you know, there's a lot of questions consumer will ask themselves. Infrastructure, do I have enough reach? Can I, let's say, in the old days, would have said fuel enough? Yeah, and how quickly can you do it? And these are all the questions which we specifically applaud the initiative of the administration of President Biden and also Administrator Reagan and the whole administration, because we believe we share a lot of common goals. By the end of this year, we will have about 1 million electrified cars on the global roads, and we are completely committed to also take targets even higher and further. And that's why we feel so comfortable that the targets of the administration and the targets of BMWs are the same. So we are completely committed, and therefore I'm extremely honored today to now have the honor to introduce Administrator Reagan. But in order to do that, I actually have a little bit of a cheat sheet here, because otherwise I would not remember all of the great things he has done already. Because prior to his nomination as EPA Administrator, he served as the Secretary of the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality. As a Secretary, he also at the time spearheaded the development and the implementation of North Carolina's Assembly Plan to address climate change and transition the state to a clean energy economy. He's actually no stranger to the agency now he heads up, because he's been before in his career with the US Environmental Protection Agency, becoming a national program manager responsible for designing strategic solutions with industry and corporate stakeholders to reduce air pollution, improve energy efficiency, and address climate change. Administrator Regan is a graduate of the North Carolina Agricultural University. He earned a master's degree in public administration from the George Washington University, just a few blocks up the street. Thank you, Administrator Regan, for being with us today. You're on the right side. Thank you. Give him a big round of applause. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Kuhn, for that introduction and for an outstanding tour. I also want to thank you for your vision and your leadership. It's greatly appreciated. You know, not too long ago, I had the privilege of joining Vice President Harris on a tour of electric school buses down in North Carolina. And I thought few things could compare to that, but what a tour. And what happens behind the scenes at BMW? Well, it turns out to be pretty close to amazing. It's clear to me that there's a tremendous amount of innovation happening here at BMW. That innovation may be on full display with the i4 and the iX, but it's not new for BMW, not new at all. These fully electric vehicles are the latest in a long history of sustainable measures, including a commitment to the goals of the Paris Climate Agreement and a pledge to reduce CO2 throughout the entire life cycle of BMW vehicles. I also want to acknowledge that BMW was among the 5 automotive companies who signed an agreement in 2019 with California to voluntarily adopt more measures, more stringent greenhouse measures, and more stringent greenhouse gas reduction targets. As an administration, we recognize your leadership, and we want to build on your leadership. The business decisions that you make, decisions that are deliberate and designed to set you up for success, prove that we don't have to choose between a healthy environment and a healthy economy. The two aren't mutually exclusive, but they actually go together, hand in hand. We can breathe cleaner air, we can drive more efficient vehicles, and we can have a thriving economy. In essence, we can walk and we can chew gum at the same time. That's the mentality that we're leading with at EPA, and that's the mentality that President Biden is leading with from the White House. During his first days in office, President Biden issued a series of executive orders to set clear priorities for this administration to protect public health, to address the climate crisis, and to deliver on environmental justice, all while restoring science as the backbone of all of our decision-making. Last month, the president set a goal under the Paris Agreement that the U.S. would reduce greenhouse gas emissions by half by 2030. Reaching this goal will require, among other things, making significant strides in the transportation sector. As you all know, light-duty cars and trucks and commercial vehicles are the most significant sources of carbon emissions. The President's Day 1 executive order directed EPA to review and consider replacing the existing light-duty vehicle GHG standards, the safe standards put in place by the previous administration. EPA is on track to issue a proposal and revise the safe standards by the end of July. Separately, in late April, EPA issued a notice starting to process our reconsideration of the SAFE 1 decision, which withdrew California's Clean Air Act waiver for its greenhouse gas standards and ZEV mandate for light-duty vehicles. EPA's revision of the SAFE standards is part of a comprehensive clean car policy President Biden is advancing. Through the American Jobs Plan, the White House is proposing a $174 billion investment in the EV market. This money will go towards actions such as enabling automakers to spur domestic supply chains from raw materials to parts, retool factories to compete globally, and support American workers to make batteries and EVs. Providing consumers with the point-of-sale rebates and tax incentives to make buying an EV more affordable. Funding programs for state and local governments and private sector to build a national network of 500,000 EV chargers by 2030, and using the federal purchase power to electrify the federal fleet of vehicles. We know how important the auto industry is to American jobs, and we want to work with you to ensure a successful transition from today's vehicle technology to the zero carbon technologies of the future. Together, we will ensure the United States remains both globally competitive and a center of automotive innovation and high-quality automotive manufacturing jobs. So again, BMW, thank you for your leadership and your vision. Thank you all for having me today.
All right, before you all melt away, I prayed for no rain today, and we got that for sure. Thank you, Administrator Regan, for the great remarks. I now invite you all to please take part in our interactive experiences, and you'll want to do that because they're under the tents where there's shade. Please feel free to go and ask our BMW experts all the questions you have. Please experience the vehicles and enjoy the great food and beverages that we have. Again, thank you all very much for being here today. We appreciate it very much. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
By the end of this year, we will have about 1 million electrified cars on the global roads, and we are completely committed to also take targets even higher and further.
It's clear to me that there's a tremendous amount of innovation happening here at BMW. That innovation may be on full display with the i4 and the iX,